Good morning. My name is Patty Elaine, and welcome back to 78 Reflections. I'm so glad you're here. Today we are going to jump into another Wobble Reading, which is a 3-card spread inspired by the Chariot card and created by the Mindful Tarot, Esther. And I will link some information in the description box. But in essence, what we're doing is we're exploring the energies that are showing up for us today. And the middle card helps us ask a really good question in order to understand how to best navigate these energies. So I hope you have a cup of coffee. If you don't, maybe pause this and go grab one. I have a fresh cup sitting here that I just made. It smells, tastes so good. And coffee and cards has become the best part of my morning. And I hope it'll become a part of your morning too. I hope you'll join me here for this series that I'm doing daily for a period of 33 days. So with that being said, let's jump right in. And the Shadowland Tarot is on either side. The Wild Unknown is in the middle. And we are going to ask what energy is showing up for me today. The Knight of Cups. Well, I'm always happy to see the Knight of Cups because for me, the Knight of Cups is all about connecting to what brings us joy and fulfillment, because the cups energy is about our emotions and connecting to what makes our heart happy. And the knight is about bringing action towards that suit. One of my favorite descriptions of the Knight of Cups comes from The Witch's Garden. And in that book, they talk about how the knight lays down her armor to explore creativity. And I just think that's a really beautiful thing to think about, especially for those of us who do a lot of, strategy and linear thinking in our work. So to offset and complement that, I think an encouragement to do the things we love and be creative is a beautiful complement to that. And in this card, we have a mermaid who moves between water and land with ease. She represents the sensual, romantic, and magical spaces of dawn and twilight. The guidebook for the Shadowland Tarot also talks about this night, telling us that it's a wonderful time to engage in the arts and creative projects that we have been nurturing, because they will now or shortly come to fruition. And we're being presented with opportunities to share our creative talent. And I think that that is a beautiful space to be in. And one of the questions that comes up in the guidebook for this is, what project is begging for my attention? Can I commit to completing or continuing my creative works? Am I gifting myself the time, energy, and space to create? So with that, what energy is competing with the energy of the Knight of Cups? The High Priestess. Well, they're both really beautiful energies, but I definitely do think there's a big contrast between them. Even just looking at the imagery, look at the Knight of Cups as the sun is shining bright and it's a beautiful day, whereas the High Priestess is it's dark, it's night. And the High Priestess is the second card in the major arcana. Well, it's the number 2. We have the Fool, and which is the 0 card, which makes the High Priestess actually the 3rd card in the major arcana, but she's number 2, which is about choice. And this particular High Priestess has this book of shadows that she's holding on to, and she holds secrets and sacred knowledge in her book of shadows. She's the keeper of knowledge gained from her personal experiences and her own learning, as well as knowledge shared and passed down through many generations. She is at home in nature and loves the mysteries of the universe, especially in the evening. I find it much easier to connect to the High Priestess energy, I think, and more naturally than the King of Cups. Just because I feel like it's that internal, which I feel like has been coming up a lot. It's that internal versus the external. The Knight of Cups represents that urge to follow our heart's desire, to engage in creativity. And I think the other part of that is expressing ourselves freely. He encourages us to create, to dream, to move forward with passion. And then on the other side, we have the High Priestess, a card of deep intuition, wisdom, and reflection. And the High Priestess asks us to go inward, to listen to the quiet whispers of our inner truth. The contrast between them, I think, is highlighted in the fact that the Knight wants to act and the High Priestess urges us to pause, listen, and reflect. So it's a really good question that can help us navigate these competing energies. The moon. How beautiful. Well, the moon, one of the great things about the moon is it emphasizes light and darkness. And I know the moon can be interpreted as a negative card, talking about what we're not aware of, what we're not noticing. But I also think it can help us discover where the opportunity lies, because it speaks to, or it can speak to what's been hidden. It could be doubts, fears, or even entire parts of ourselves that we've exiled. And I think what the moon invites us to do is to gently uncover those hidden parts of ourselves that we have buried. And the reasons why we bury things can be very deep, or maybe they can be more on the surface. It could be the result of childhood trauma. It could be a result of years and years of conditioning about this is what's acceptable and this is what is not acceptable. And I think particularly thinking of the Knight of Cups, I think about that childhood joy that is often stifled. When you think about the freedom of children, they don't hesitate with creativity. They jump right in. But I think over our lives, we're taught to stifle that. And particularly as adults, I don't feel like we're given a lot of permission to play and explore and just for the fun of it, not to produce something, not to impress someone, but just simply for the joy of it. So I feel that the pain and the fear, or whatever it is that causes us to push these things down, can create a really big energy leak for us. And we may not even be aware of it because we may have been doing it for so long. And so I feel like the moon offers an invitation to bring these things into the light with gentleness. I see you. I see that little girl in you that loved to create and loved to play and discover. And I accept her and I welcome her. And so I don't see this necessarily about forcing answers or pushing forward. It's more about uncovering what's there, noticing it, and accepting it with curiosity. And I think, too, when we heal these aspects of ourselves, we open the door to the Knight of Cups and creative flow, where we can express ourselves, trust our intuition, and move forward without hesitation. I think the High Priestess can potentially make us get stuck in contemplation, but I also think she can offer a beautiful guidance and wisdom to help us integrate the whole self, both in the light and the shadows. So I think for me, I would like to consider, what are the parts of myself that I have exiled? And how can I gently begin to uncover them, heal them, and fully embrace them so that I can joyfully embrace the energy of the Knight of Cups, and hopefully resolve that energy leak that I know for sure I have definitely been feeling. Because the moon shows us that embracing the parts of ourselves that we've hidden away, we can unlock new gifts or rediscover. I would prefer to say rediscover these gifts of creativity, joy, and freedom that we've always had, and give ourselves permission to explore and create without fear or hesitation. So that's what's come up for me today, and it has energized an otherwise unenergized morning. So I thank you for being here with me today. I hope you've enjoyed this Wobble reading, and I hope you come back. If you're interested in the Decans, I'm also doing a Decan stroll, so I have a separate playlist for that. And I'll be doing a reading every 10 days when there's a new Decan. Thanks for being here today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Until then.